Well, hello, Emily.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm Jennifer.
Nice to meet you.
So, how was your drive down here?
It was nice. It's very sunny today. I had the windows down.
Oh, that must have been
It
so
was
good.
very nice.
That's good. I'm so glad. So, I just want to go over what we're going to do today. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over what brought you in today. We're going to go over a strange question. And we're going to talk a little bit, maybe take a break if we need to. But before that, I want to make sure that you know that anything you say in here is confidential unless I need some assistance. I would go talk to a colleague, but it would only stay between us, really. The only thing that is not confidential is if you tell me you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else, then I'll have to call the proper authorities and inform them.
Okay.
Okay? So, what brought you in today?
Well, I've been having some conflicts lately. I am in a long-distance relationship, and with that comes a lot of stress and finding positive ways to communicate with one another while we live far away from each other. So I think that one main area of concern would definitely be like the level of communication that we have with one another, and the problems that can come with that, especially with being in long distance.
Okay. So I'm hearing that you're stressed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lack of communication between your relationship, and maybe there's some, not speaking with each other in periods of time, or I'm not sure. Is that what you're talking about? Are you stressed out because you are unable to communicate well, or because you aren't living close to each other?
Yeah, I would think it's a combination of both of those things. The stress probably comes from not being able to communicate as well as we could be, and I think that also plays into, because we are long distance, like not getting that like face-to-face interaction, which I think is very important.
Yeah. So do you guys talk a lot on the phone or see each other, and when are those days that you see each other?
Typically on the weekends. So it's probably like every weekend, maybe we miss one here or there, but and then we like text periodically throughout the day, and then like whenever we can we try and Skype with one another. But I mean that only gets communication so far, There's something to be said about having that in-person conversation.
So are you feeling overwhelmed with the inability to communicate in person?
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel when maybe you guys are not speaking to each other very well, or miscommunicating words to each other? How does that make you feel?
I would say I get very anxious because I still have some insecurities just with relationships, and like I think that like I know it just keeps coming up, but like the long distance is a really difficult thing for me because I enjoy spending time with people that I love and like care about, and so to like have that distance between us is hard. And like I feel like because we're not communicating very well, that like stirs up my anxieties of like, well, like overthinking and being like, well, what could happen next, or like why aren't we able to like talk these things out? I'm very much like a overthinker and like worst case scenario type of a person.
I can understand that. So my other question to you is, do you think it only affects you, or do you think it affects other people around you in your home, or maybe your boyfriend?
Yeah, no, I definitely know that it does. So I live with my mom, and I know that she can pick up on when things may not always be going well, or just like my stresses of being in a long distance relationship and like not having the connection I always want. She will like come in and like say, hey, is like everything okay? Like, just kind of like touching bases with me, and then I know it affects my boyfriend too. But I think that also kind of plays into the fact that we don't like necessarily talk about the ways that it affects him, or like but like I don't know, like that just goes back to like our lack of communication right now. So
Was there ever a time where it wasn't a problem communicating with each other?
I think maybe when we first started dating, it wasn't so much of a problem because we were in like that honeymoon phase of like everything's always fine and dandy and you just like really enjoy your time together and you don't like really have things to complain about because it's just so new and like maybe even like not wanting to say if something bothers you because you don't want to like jeopardize your honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
So, and then I think when we're both kind of aware of like one another's stance on our levels of communication, because I know that there are times where like he thinks we're talking a lot and I don't feel that way, and like kind of getting on the same page of like what we both need, like it's not as stressful.
Well, I can feel that you are stressed there because of the lack of communication between your relationship with your boyfriend. You get anxious because of that. You tend to overthink the matter. It's what you're telling me. And although you guys see each other on, every other weekend or here and there, Skyping, texting, it's not the same for you. So that makes you feel even more anxious about, talking to him and miscommunicating.
Sure.
So is that what you're telling me? Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I think too it's kind of like we've been together for about 2.5 years, so I feel almost like a stall in our relationship because like obviously there are factors like you can't just like pick up and move somewhere far away, like I'm in school and he has a job, so but I also feel that like we're ready for that next step but unable to take it because of the distance. And I think that is like also a huge like part of our miscommunication and like the stress in our relationship.
Okay, I can understand that. So I am going to ask you that strange question that we were talking about originally, okay? Just bear with me, okay? So imagine yourself leaving this office after we're done. You go home and you do your normal routine, whether that be getting on the couch, watching TV, making some dinner, something that you do on a daily basis. And you start getting ready for bed, go to bed, start falling asleep, you're asleep, and, someone waved the magic wand somewhere. And all those problems that you have been telling me about, that stress, the anxiousness, the lack of communication, they're gone in the middle of the night, just like that. When you wake up, what would be the first thing that you notice is different, that made you aware that something changed during the night?
Probably that my boyfriend would be with me.
Okay.
Yeah, like because I think that is like something that I would really want. It's like for us to be living together. And then probably I would notice that maybe we weren't living at my mom's house. Like we had our own place. But even if we were, like, I think I would just feel like more secure knowing that like even though we're doing separate things, like he would go to work and I would be going to work or school or whatever, like having that like knowing that we would be coming home to one another and not like waiting for him to call me or like me calling him, like type of a thing. Like that anxiety and stress wouldn't be there. And then I think probably I would notice like throughout the day I wouldn't have so much anxiety because I think that because I am an overthinker, I tend to read more into like his communication or lack of communication. I wouldn't like feel so much like uncertainty because of us being living together and stuff. So that would be really nice to not have those feelings of worry.
So I know you said the first thing you notice is that your boyfriend would be with you, right? So let's say that this whole day was just your perfect
Mm-hmm.
What else would you notice that morning? What would be different? What would be something that make it an amazing day?
That I wouldn't have deadlines and paperwork or papers to do, and that I would be able to enjoy the sunshine instead of staying inside and working on those things. I really enjoy hiking, so maybe getting out to like do a new hike and like just being outdoors. Just kind of like not having a lot of like the stresses accumulate on one another and just like having a day to kind of like breathe and like really enjoy life.
I can understand
Yeah.
that, definitely. What about lunch? What would you do for lunch?
Well, I love sushi, so I think I would probably go to one of my favorite sushi places and have lunch. Um, and then maybe like go to a happy hour or something, like just like really enjoy that. Like I'm a total foodie, so I could really go anywhere and be happy. But like I love sushi for sure, so on my miracle day, that's probably where you would find me.
So, who do you think would notice that something's changed in your day?
Probably like everyone in my life. For sure my mom would, because I think that since we do live together right now, like she would notice like that I wasn't always so like worried or like thinking about everything, because I know that she's very much aware of that. My boyfriend probably would too, just because if it was my miracle day, we would be living together. So like, like, but and I think too he would like realize that like my anxiety wasn't as high and like some little things wouldn't irritate me as much as they would on my not miracle day. I don't know, like my friends would probably notice that I was like in a better mood or I had like more time to like hang out or just like be more available to them because I wasn't so like anxious or concerned about my own problems. Yeah.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 dogs.
What would they think on your miracle day? Would they see any difference in you, or?
Yeah, probably. Just because I would probably be more willing to like do things like take them places with me because I'm like they can be kind of stressful out in public, but I think that if I was like already not as stressed or anxious, it would be more manageable for me to like take them places or like I don't know. Dogs can be very intuitive, so they would probably like know I wasn't as stressed or anxious. So I think that they would.
So what about dinner? What do you think your end of the day would look like in this awesome day that you're having?
Well, I love to cook, so especially dinner time meals. So I'd probably come home and like maybe I would have like marinated some sort of meat and like it would be nice and sunny still, so I could like have the back door open and be cooking outside and just like probably drinking a beer or something and just like hanging out and just like even if my mom like I really like cooking for my mom and stuff too and like having her company around too and like having my boyfriend be there too, just like having like a mellow night but like still spending time with people that I care about. So my friends wanted to come over, hang out.
So, can I just relay your miracle day?
Yeah.
So, on your miracle day, you said you'd have no anxiety or stress. The first thing you'd notice would be your boyfriend maybe waking up to you. Yeah. Or you waking up to him, I should say. You'd have your own place. Everyone would notice that you were stress-free and anxiety-free, and you'd enjoy your day by hiking and doing stress-free things other than, meeting deadlines and all that. And you'd be more available to people is what I'm hearing also, that you wouldn't be as stressed or as, on a time crunch maybe.
Yeah.
And you would be able to make commitments to other people, maybe hang out with them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great miracle day.
Yeah.
It does. Maybe especially that beer at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I want to ask you, have there been times in the past, maybe a month, where parts of this miracle day have already come true?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, like, I have been, like, hiking and, like, done those types of things. And I think that, like, during the weekends, there are a lot of aspects of my miracle day that come true, like, because I'm not as, like, stressed about school because I'm like, oh, it's Saturday, I'll do it on Sunday. Or, like, you know what I mean? I kind of, like, procrastinate a little bit there, so I'm not so focused on, like, meeting those deadlines. And then, like, obviously my boyfriend's in town or I'm with him, so, like, that stress of, like, we can't, like, talk or, like, be around each other. So, yeah, like, probably I would say the weekends are, like, when I feel that way the most. But then, like, also during the week, too, if I am, like, extra conscious of, like, what my anxiety is like, I can tend to be like, okay, why am I feeling so anxious? And kind of reel it back in. But then, of course, there are, like, those days where I'm just like, like, everything is wrong and all that stuff. But, yeah, like, probably I have noticed those things, but maybe not have been as aware of them as I could be.
I heard you say that you take some time when you feel anxious, that you take some time to actually, take the time to figure out why you're feeling that way. I think that's very good to do, especially when you're feeling that way, in order to, maybe calm yourself, and figure out what the stressor is.
Sure.
I want to ask you, if we had a scale, we had to weigh, how big of a problem this is on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, it's not really a problem, I don't have to deal with it, and 10 being, oh my goodness, this is the worst. What would you rate this stress, anxiety, and this, miscommunication between your relationship and your boyfriend?
I would say it's probably like a high 5 or like a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said like high 5 or a 6. Is there a reason why you're in between those numbers?
Yeah, because I feel like some days it's not as, like, I think about it often because it's like that relationship is a big part of my life, so I think it would be unhealthy to not think about it. But there are definitely days where it's just kind of like, yeah, this is like what I signed up for, like, what I have been doing. And then, like, the days I feel like it's a 6, I'm like probably feeling more anxious, but I'm also like able to still be productive, or like I'm still able to like take on the things that I need to. It doesn't like cripple me.
Well, that's good that you keep on moving on with your life there. But what do you think would make it a full 6 or maybe even a 7 for you?
As far as it being more of a problem?
Well, not a 7. Let me reword that. I'm sorry. Okay, so what would make it a 4?
Oh, okay. So less of a problem. Probably just like my own awareness of like what I'm bringing into the relationship too, and not maybe just like dumping that on my boyfriend or like other people, like any relationships, like with my mom and stuff too, but specifically with my boyfriend, and maybe just like taking more of that time to like really analyze my anxiety and like why I'm feeling that way probably would help me not make it seem like such a huge problem.
And I know we talked about, who would notice the difference between your like miracle day and between you now. On a scale of 1 to 10, again, 1 being okay, no one would notice, or 10 being everybody's noticing.
Yeah.
What I do. Have you felt any changes now, or how does that scale between how it's going now in your life, like relationship wise?
Like, how would people notice it's different? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, like, how do you feel people are noticing right now? People are not noticing is 1.
Oh, okay.
And 10 being people are noticing.
Probably like a 7 or 8.
7 or 8. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's a 7 or 8?
Probably because like I am like a very caring person, and so like I don't know. I think that I am also not very good. Like I'm a very emotional person, so because I'm like so caring and emotional, I think that that is kind of just like what I put out there. Like so, it's not very hard for people to like kind of see what I'm going through. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's high, but I feel like it's also because like I have like a very like I don't have a poker face like at all. So like when I'm feeling something, I think it's pretty obvious to like the people in my life.
What do you think would make it a 6?
Maybe if I were to ask for help and not just like try and deal with it by myself, or like letting those people who do have concerns like be a part of the concerns as opposed to like me trying to feel like, oh, I can just fix all of these things on my own, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like my problem to deal with, but including them if they were like asking help for something.
Seeking the help whenever you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed. That's good to know
right
that you have people there for you.
Yeah.
If in case you need them, of course. So you also said that you want your own place. How big of a problem is that? Is that one of the causes of your anxiety or your stressors? Or
I mean, yes and no. So, like I said earlier, I live with my mom now, and that she's like the world's best roommate. So it's not like that living situation is difficult. I think more like having my own place would make me feel more independent, and like obviously it would mean that like my boyfriend and I were living together. But even if that wasn't like, even if we had to live with my mom for a few months, like that would still be fine too. So I would say that that's not super high on my like. That's probably like a 4 or 5. Like it's like one of those things that it would be nice, but it wouldn't be horrible if it didn't happen. Type of thing.
Well, it sounds like you are having some problems that make you feel anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed, and it's very understandable. You're dealing with it very well. I can see that you have people there for you, and that you find yourself seeking the help.
Right.
And I would suggest, you said yourself that you take time to find your stressors, and I think maybe you should. Do you think it would be helpful?
Definitely.
To stop during the day and think about it once in a while, more often than.
It's just like having that conscious awareness that I think is more challenging for me in this situation where I am anxious to like stop myself. But definitely like just talking, I'm like, yes, these are things I need to like focus on in order to bring these problems down.
So you think that'll help you maybe bring it up more?
Yeah.
You also said asking for help instead of trying to figure out for yourself. Do you think that would be helpful for you to seek it out more often? I mean, it's great that you came to see me for this, but you also said that you have a lot of friends and family that are there for you. Do you think it'd be helpful to also talk to them and talk it out, maybe get feedback?
And I think too that would probably help my communication skills. Being able to like not only like be aware of my problems, but like communicating them to other people is probably healthy.
I think that it's good to know that about yourself,
right?
To be able to do that. So good on you.
Thank you.
But we've run out of time.
Okay.
It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Jennifer.
I hope to see you again.
Okay.